everyone, video about Pokimane, let's watch.
So over the years, the meta, or the go-to for streaming and content creation, has changed significantly. Where at the start it was mainly about streamers just playing games and talking to their chat, and probably the pinnacle of those streams back then would be the streamer hitting an epic clip, or their family member coming in without knowing they're live and embarrassing them.
Go to the bathroom and take a now.
Hey.
Bathroom and now.
That's such a random thing to say to someone, by the way. What's up, Emo? That is such a random thing. Also, that's weird, because I did take that off, but that is such a random thing to just come into someone's room and be like, go do that. Like what? Sheesh.
Go to the bathroom and take a shit. I can smell you. Get off.
Hey,
Go to the bathroom.
get out.
I can smell you is weird. That is such a weird thing to say. I can smell you. Like what? You can smell his farts or something? That's crazy. I can smell. Like, is he streaming in a live room or something? Like, bro, what is going on? Sheesh.
Go to the bathroom. I can smell you. Yourself.
Around this time, streaming was mostly about the game.
Okay, how is that pooping on yourself if what, like, death was silent? Like, bro, like, it's one thing. It was like, do you poop on yourself? But bro, that's crazy. Also, not gonna say anything, but that voice gives me flashbacks to a typical type of voice I heard. Crazy work. I was just like, bruh. And then, no, it's just more so. It's like, and then like those type of people like, oh, what did I ever do wrong? It's like, have you thought about the way you talk?
Play and the personality of the streamer. However, in the current day, it's more about clip farming.
You really think I'm case?
Hey, where's my shake? Shake that ass! Drive!
Darren!
It's more about.
So no one thought that he might hurt himself and thought that was a good idea? Like, or did he just randomly do that? Cause like, it's just like, yeah, you have enough space. Maybe like create more space. That looked like that because I was thinking broke his neck and no one. The way that. Okay, hold up. Like this? That's one thing. This though. Like. I don't know the context, but I feel like that there is a setup for this. And it's just like.
Darren!
Because I feel like your initial, yeah, that's what it felt. That was like, that's ISO's speed, but I feel like if someone did that, they would have more of a shocked reaction than that. I don't know. What about you guys? Do you think that, like, if you saw that, would that be like your reaction?
It's more about drama.
XQC is like Jekyll and Hyde, because who XQC is on stream is like a really brash person.
Isn't it Jekyll and Hyde, not Jekyll and Hyde?
I wanted to
English
say
major.
something. I was like, I wanted to say something, but he pointed out, which is funny because, never mind. Let me not.
By the way. And it's more about producing pure rage bait, so that clip, like clip farming, is then taken from your stream and spread throughout the internet, where people will openly criticize you and judge your character, even though it was probably intentional and maybe even staged for that desired effect.
Your account has been deactivated. L Lacey, that poor guy's gonna be broke now. Bro, send him like 250.
Okay. 250, bro. What?
Only 250. Dang. Y'all call me. Dang. Okay.
At least 5. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not sending him $500.
Bro, you
Huh?
you this shit.
Okay, but he knew the risk giving someone his DoorDash account.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying, like, some of these clip things, I'm like, is it really worth it? I guess it is for them, but like, that's crazy. Don't forget being sent to walk to get their cigarettes from the vending machine at the hotel. What is this, Yakuza? Like, what?
I told him you were gonna be a regular fucking dasher.
Was I not?
Bro, you were eating the food, you fucking fatty.
Okay, I had a little snack.
And the result of this is free publicity and an increase in hate watchers, both benefiting you until in some
That, like, what, like, when you could tell it's like content for content, it's one thing, but it's just still crazy because it's just like the fact that they really have to think about what would get people irked or what would make people laugh, right? And it's just like this type of content is what happens. I don't know. To me, that's just kind of crazy. Is to if they said something. That's what I'm saying. Like some of these clips, it's like you could always say later on, "Oh yeah, it was fake," but like I don't know.
cases it gets too much to the point where people take the bait way too seriously, and maybe they start preying on your downfall or even threatening your life, and results in you having to come clean and break both the character and the illusion that it's organic to tell people that you were just doing it for content for your own safety.
But yeah, I just got it's a weird threat. Like normally it's the normal shit like, oh, self, or oh, I'm gonna find you and murder you. But
What?
this one was just a little different. I don't know how to explain it. It was just a little different.
This is just how streaming is nowadays. But what if, stay with me now, if there was a streamer that's been streaming for well over a decade, they've been very successful in their streaming career, they're actually known throughout the streaming space, but they've also had their fair share of controversies, they've said things that sometimes don't make sense or contradict what they've previously stated.
And we hate the rich. Anyway. Too much.
Aren't you the rich?
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. That clip is always just very very funny to hear. What's up, Matt? What's up?
No! Like the ultra rich, the ultra giga rich.
And you cannot tell if what they say and do they mean, or it's just really successful rage bait. But either way, it's produced a similar effect regardless, where people regularly express their somewhat disdain for them. People will clip anything said that can be deemed even remotely controversial to profit on the hate for them. And another thing which is common on the internet right now, which is if they happen to be even remotely close to the supposed ancient age of 30, they will
Oh my goodness. Whatever shall you do? Sheesh.
be constantly reminded of that fact, and by that time they should have had a significant other, kids, and weirdly enough that their eggs are close to expiring. Yeah, they're hated that much. Maybe the internet was a mistake. But that streamer and content creator I vaguely described is Pokimane. Someone that a few years ago actually had an overwhelmingly positive reputation, but in the
She's
current
34.
year, it's drastically changed to the point where it appears there's more hate for her than anything else, and day by day it only gets worse. But before we get into why she's hated, the controversies that may have brought about said hate, and if she deserves the hate, we first need to know who Pokimane is.
There's a reason it's called compulsive masturbator. It's not like something.
What?
Okay, listen, bro. You have a legitimate issue. Go see a doctor, like a dude with a legit PhD. That ain't me.
So Pokimane, or Aeyvi Anis, was born on the 14th of May 1996 in the country of Morocco. Now, not a lot is known about her earlier life except she would move from Morocco to
We got a Pokimane fan in the chat. We got a Pokimane fan.
Quebec, Canada at the age of 4, which I imagine must have been terrible with the average resident of Quebec not only speaking French,
What?
French.
but also speaking barely translatable English, you're probably better off trying to communicate with the inhabitants of the North Sentinel Island, who have been isolated from other humans and the world for at least 30,000 years, than trying to communicate with any Quebecian that claims they speak English.
No, yeah. I'm happy for that, but I seen some of these documentaries. I ain't believe none of that. Hey, the game government ain't no getting no one in the bad sample. No, give my
What?
I have no idea what the fuck you're saying right now.
But slander to the side, Hime would make her start on the internet in June of 2013 at around the age of 17, where she would create her account on the Twitch platform and begin streaming under the guise of wanting to find other people that also played games, as in her own words, she didn't know anybody or have anyone to play with in her entire city. She began streaming the same time she created the account, going under the name Pokimane, which apparently was a name produced by mixing her name with the name of the Pokemon franchise. I am surprised Nintendo hasn't sued her yet with their track record.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, a lot of people even just think her name is Pokemon, so that's insane.
At the start of her streaming career, she would mainly stream League of Legends whilst also still being in high school, and around this time is when one of her infamous moments would occur that is still brought up to this day, which was her ripping the N-word whilst playing League of Legends because a person in her chat said her stream was boring.
Oh my god, well, like, I'm not a girl, so I can't get as many viewers as... Nick, you ain't funny. That's not true. Maybe you're just boring as fuck and lame as hell. Cause only lame niggas say that shit. Sorry, getting mad.
This would be a clip that would forever haunt Pokimane in the future, mainly used whenever she spoke out about racism.
I'm a racist. I have no prior history of any racist behavior.
Nick!
But years later, she would give an excuse for this, saying she was still young, she didn't mean it in a derogatory way, and it was a different time back then. Which, to speak on the last point, she wasn't really wrong. Take one step into a MW2 lobby around that time, and you'd probably be educated on a slur for almost every ethnicity. But despite her reasoning, it is still brought up to this day, even if it is now over 2 decades old. But back to the start of her career, she would only really stream League of Legends, something she continued to do for the next few years, even when she had graduated from high school and began studying chemical engineering at McMaster University in Ontario. Poki would always find some time to stream from her dorm room whilst attending classes, sometimes back to back and enduring 9 to 12 hour days, apparently just so she could get some spare time to maintain her streaming schedule, which resulted in her building her audience and platform to the point where in 2015 she was making enough money to pay for things like her school by herself. And she was also getting recognised by Twitch, getting her own area for fan meetups at TwitchCon. Around this time, people were not only watching her for the League content, but also for Pokimane, the personality behind the gameplay, from the way she would interact with people in her chat to her segments like Dr. Poki, where she would speak directly to people in her chat and try to solve their problems, which resulted in some weird interactions like this.
So, my second issue is I'm a compulsive masturbator.
What?
Right?
That's diabolical. Oh my goodness. What? Insane work.
I masturbate.
I was one of the toxic people in that era. Oh my goodness, sheesh. Yeah. Okay.
Fucking like 10 times a day.
What?
You know what I mean?
Yo, her face looks so different back then. Sheesh.
I don't know how to stop. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you had this issue. You know what I mean? Like, I'm asking advice.
Can't say I've ever had that issue, but
I hate when people be acting like that's stuff you just normally talk about. It's like, because they're probably trolling. They're probably not. But it's like, it's just like, bro, Darn well, if you did that IRL, you know darn well that's the case you got right there. Like what? Like just walking up to some like they could say it's anything.
But
Okay, let's not kid ourselves. At least one person watching that stream was choking the chicken. That interaction was the only evidence I needed. And the only evidence I need that you're going to develop your next heroin-like addiction is with the sponsor of today's video, War Thunder. Something you've definitely heard about on this channel and probably...
Where's the eyes? War Thunder. So that's why people Donut? What's up? Postal Service, it's been a while. And now you can see why they talk about her aging. Well, dang it. Well, yeah, if you've seen someone when they're young, like a teen, and you see them when they're sticking grown, of course they're gonna age. That's normal. Like, dang, did you not grow up?
And she was also making a...
Like, you could dislike Pokimane for a lot of things, but like to be like, oh yeah, you're aging. It's like that's crazy. It's like, of course, it's been years. Like, of course she's aging.
a decent chunk of change doing it. But she was still a student. In fact, she had just finished her second year of her chemical
Did she start in like
engineering
2015?
degree, and she
Someone
only
had to
had
Google
one
that.
more year left, where after she could freely explore her options from there. But feeling as though this opportunity wouldn't last much longer,
Turn her
she would
Jaffa
decide
cakes.
to put her degree on hold and take a gap year to try out streaming full time. Something her parents didn't exactly agree with, but after seeing her revenue and reassuring them if things didn't work out she would only be missing a year of school, they were somewhat fine with it.
Through my last year, and I streamed part-time, and then I said, fuck this shit, I'm out 2 years into my chemical engineering degree.
Damn, what did your parents say?
Well, honestly, I kind of, I was like, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. I did a PowerPoint. I was like, look at my income. It's like, doing this. Look at my college debt. It's doing this.
Damn.
And the result of this was that she would never be returning to school or finish her degree because her streaming career would start to skyrocket at the start of 2017. She would now be averaging over 3,000 concurrent viewers, a figure that would only continue to grow.
Oh, dang. Sheesh, you see, this was just 2017. Oh my. And then all the products Pokimane were scams, and she began to talk down people that support her, tries to make it sound like she wasn't doing that. Yeah, I get that. I'm just talking about the thing with the whole aging thing. I'm like, that's a whole different discussion.
In tandem with the launch of games like Fortnite's Battle Royale,
What the turd is
Poki
that?
began streaming Fortnite at its peak alongside League of Legends, which would result in her viewership exploding, and she would receive over 450,000 followers just that year. Around this time, she would also get the opportunity to become one of the founding members of a content creation group called Offline TV.
You know what's crazy? Because someone was telling me, because, you know, I've been streaming for like 5 years, but with the purple side, I had no luck. It's like, who? Oh, that's. I was like, who is this? I was like, that don't look like no Pokimane. Because of that, it's like, I was just like, yeah, for some reason on the purple side, I just can't get my numbers up. Like, I don't know what. And then, like, they're like, you know, it's not hard to grow on the purple side. I was just like, okay, agree to disagree, but I'll hear you out. Like, yeah, like, you have to, you know, talk to people. I was just like, the whole time I was streaming like people from back then where they just made it by themselves. Like, you know, yeah, like they're saying like she did this whole content stuff, but I'm guessing like once she kind of made it, but like, you know, I'm here thinking like you have to make it first before you even network and whatnot. But yeah, a lot of other people nowadays are just trying to network first before they even make it. So I was just like, oh, that's interesting how people are doing it now. Um, but again, it's like, do you want to keep to yourself or do you want to make it on your own? Like, how do you want to do it? So, like, just because you're talking to someone or like trying to connect or network with someone doesn't mean that it's gonna help you automatically. I think that's what a lot of people think too, which is why jealousies come in because they're like, oh, I supported you and this and that, and you don't support me. It's just like more so like, I mean, why were you supported in the first place? So I think there's two different ways of looking at it. But yeah, what do you guys think about that?
Alongside other large streamers like Lily Pichu, Scara, and Pokilols. Although a lot of the founding members would eventually leave, resulting in Lily Pichu and Scara being the only surviving founding members. Pokimane would move to LA following the decision to join offline TV, and around the beginning of 2018 she would win the Shorty Award for Streamer of the Year. From the outside, things were going very well for Pokimane. She was now averaging over 10,000 viewers per stream, a number that would still only continue to grow, and she would also see success on other platforms like YouTube, eventually reaching over 1 million subscribers. However, towards the end of 2018 is where people would begin to question Pokimane's character, as since she was getting popular, she had started to somewhat refine her on-stream behaviour and image as a whole compared to previous years, and people were beginning to wonder if she truly was this wholesome and kind person she had built her brand on, or was it all fake? A sentiment that would continue to grow as the years went on and as she surrounded herself in more and more controversies. But said sentiment or opinion wasn't widespread at this point. It would first take a number of smaller events before it got to that level. The first sign of criticism against Pokimane, as mentioned, would start in late 2018. And it was another thing which still follows her around to this day, even though from the outside it appeared like a fairly wholesome act. And this event was her going on stream without makeup, which I assume had the objective of showing women it's okay to feel comfortable in their own skin, but it just led to people taking a screenshot of a single
Bro, this photo goes around all over the place, and they be trolling crazy with this photo. They're like, as if they don't know that what a natural look looks like. I guess because Pokimane uses that natural makeup look, so I guess they're here thinking like, oh snap, what is this like? Yeah, she's wearing makeup the whole time. And so when they see her bare face, they're like, what? I was just like, yeah. a lot of that natural look that y'all be like, I love that bear look. I was like, no, you like the natural quote unquote look, but you don't like the bear look when you be saying like the trolls would be saying that stuff because it's like because then you troll this photo per se and it's like interesting.
frame and waving it around, with most saying she was catfishing her audience with how different she looked with and without makeup. She would respond to this basically saying she's comfortable in her own skin and provides more pictures from better angles without makeup, but still to this day this image tends to pop up whenever Pokimane lands herself in controversy, and this was one of the first times she would see such a large amount of hate, and it was one of the handful of times she would actually have a somewhat good response, which wouldn't just result in her getting even more hate. But then almost straight after that, at the beginning of 2019, we had the Pokimane copyright situation where people really started to question her character. So basically she had a public Twitter
basically
argument
chat,
with everybody.
if you can't tell about the natural makeup look, you gotta look at the eyes. You gotta look at the eyes, like, because if they have eyeliner on, yeah, some people could just do eyeliner, but I'm just saying, like, you don't be surprised if they're wearing makeup because it's just like, yeah, of course, like it shouldn't be. Not that I care about whether she looks with or without makeup, but it's just like when you're like baffled that she's like that, where people are like, oh, she's been trolling her audience. It's like, in what sense? In what sense? Because do you want her to go on stream all the time without the makeup? It's like when you go to work, right? Are you gonna go work in sweatpants and all that? Like if it's a corporate job, I mean, if they allow you, then go ahead. Or are you gonna try to wear something that is within the dress code and is like going to be like, you know, presentable, right? Because like, you know, you could go to the job without makeup, but you know, if you look and you wear makeup, they're like, oh wow, you look so fancy today. It's just like, oh thanks. It's just like, you know, it's the same type of thing. So yeah, exactly. There's
His favorite gnome, Keemstar.
Everybody type in the chat, Alex is a stupid...
This was over Keemstar saying how SS Sniper Wolf must Photoshop her pictures, and he proceeded to point and laugh at her fans that were defending her after he said this, and Pokimane would get involved at this point defending the fans, which just resulted in a back and forth of both of them sending videos at each other over Twitter, with Keem calling her fake and Pokimane saying he's hateful. However, by the end of it, both would delete the responses and move on. But someone had archived the entire interaction and uploaded it to YouTube, which was actually the type of content they were known for, and this was Boblax, who I know just by mentioning their name in the current years like scraping a chalkboard, but this was before their whole controversy. But with Pokimane seeing this archive of the entire interaction, she would then choose to commit one of the cardinal sins of YouTube, which is abusing the copyright system and getting the video taken
I
down.
remember
Which
that.
many at the time thought it was because it didn't show her in the best light and perhaps contradicted her on-stream image. Boblax would make a statement on this saying she had abused the copyright system. This of course gained a lot of traction and resulted in Pokimane getting a lot of shit. Even PewDiePie got involved saying taking down a video covering your drama just causes a Streisand effect and leads to more people shitting on you.
Somewhat understand the motivation of trying to take down that video, but the problem here is that you're just drawing more attention to it. It's the Streisand effect every single time.
And around the same time, making this situation worse was another instance where she was basically threatening to take down another channel's videos that was taking clips of her stream because she thought they weren't transformative enough. But for context, these videos had somewhat wild thumbnails and titles, but at the time this clip did not help her case.
Edit videos and actually put effort into it and make it more entertaining for the viewer. Like, wow, I'm so sorry that it takes you a lot of time to steal other people's content. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, no.
And put it together. I'm so sorry that it takes... I'll be taking down some of your videos.
You know, a lot of the big creators do reaction videos. I always find that interesting because I'm like, when you look at like a lot of the creators, they do a lot of reaction videos. So it's like, yeah, they have their original content, but they also do reactions that just, you know, with that logic.
But yeah, I just hope you stop doing this.
With that said, some people made the point that she's saying his videos are not transformative enough, but here she was reacting to other people's videos on her stream and not really providing much of an input. It came off as a bit hypocritical. The criticism eventually reached a point where she could not ignore it and she would respond to the drama 2 months later, by 1, talking privately to Boblax, and 2, issuing an apology video which currently is no longer available. In the video, she basically said she took down Boblax's video because it was getting a lot of traction and she just wanted the drama to be over with, and she was wrong in thinking that would work. And the apology was going well till she said she was well within her right to do so, and then saves herself by saying it was not morally okay to do it. Talk about a roller coaster of an apology.
So Boblax strung together all the tweets and videos from Twitter and just re-uploaded it to YouTube with no editing or commentary or voiceover. That video was getting a lot of traction at the time, and just being completely honest with you guys, I kind of wanted to be over with all the petty drama. Although I was legally within my right to take down the video, morally and as a content creator, it wasn't something that I should have done because I mean, at the end of the day, those were tweets that me and Keem made publicly and videos that we made publicly.
But ultimately the situation was over, she spoke to Boblax, she somewhat apologised, but this was one of her first major controversies and the first thing that made people somewhat cautious when trusting Pokimane, and it wouldn't be long till the next situation occurred and had almost the same effect. But now it was 2020 and Pokimane was doing very well. People had moved on from the previous drama and she was reaching new heights in her career, especially with the new Among Us phase and the newly announced Valorant. Remember that? That was 6 years ago now. Yeah, 2020 was 6 years ago. COVID really did backdoor our brains. Poki was now comfortably averaging over 20,000 viewers per stream, and sometimes she peaked at over 100,000 concurrent viewers. And this still wasn't even her peak. Also around this time was when the term simp was being heavily used, which is a word used when describing someone that shows excessive devotion towards someone or something, and in the context of the internet they would mainly use this when describing the dedicated viewers of female streamers because supposedly they were stereotypically a lot more diehard and would defend the streamer more than the average chatter of a male streamer. Of course this led to people labeling the average Pokimane watcher as a simp, which is something she would later comment on, somewhat defending her audience. But piggybacking off the rise of the word simp was a video by It's a Gundam, and it heavily involved fans of Pokimane, including one fan that apparently donated their savings to Pokimane.
I'm kinda short on savings, but I'll definitely get 500 to drop this week, laughing my ass off. Hope she sees this and knows I love and miss her XD.
This would result in Pokimane reacting to that video because it heavily featured criticism of her and her audience, and she wouldn't have the best response to it, saying some of these cases or simps aren't actually donating this much money, and she doesn't like that he is making fun of her audience.
I'm so sorry, it is insanely hard to take this person seriously that is like dressed up as a VR person, not showing their faces, which, you know what, that's his choice, but you're also falling for this very obvious bait? Oh no.
How's it bait though? Try to explain why is this bait? Showing that why is this bait though? Okay, there is.
That's his choice, but you're also falling for this very obvious bait? Oh no. Literally just nice random people that are taking a photo of me. Or a photo with me. That's not freaking cool, dude.
She overall just didn't like the video, but the problem was that she then goes on a rant which from the outside was perceived as her directing her audience to dislike the video.
People like this stop is if people like me and my community give them feedback that this is not an okay thing to do. Not attack them, but I hit a little dislike and I say, this not cool. And if you think something is not okay and you want to see less of it, you also have to give feedback because that's how YouTubers work.
In the outcome of this, It's a Gundam's video gets bombarded and he even loses a big sponsorship deal that he was working on.
I had a sponsorship kind of lined up with like a big video game company. Yeah, that kind of went, so I hope you're happy, folks.
This led to another wave of criticism for Poki, and considering it was so soon after the previous controversy, people assumed either she had not learned her lesson or that she could not handle criticism properly, which resulted in even more people questioning her character at that point. But after getting a lot of backlash, she would apologize personally to It's a Gundam and make another apology video, also addressing other claims at the time, and it was supposedly all water under the bridge after this.
I want to sincerely apologize to both It's a Gundam and to the sponsor of that video for the remarks and comments that I made.
Despite these setbacks, she was still doing very well. She still averaged thousands of viewers and even debuted as a VTuber for like 3 streams and then went back to being a fleshy. She would see her overall peak in 2022 and around the same time
Okay, chat, hold up 1 second. Chat. You know what's insane? Okay, so let me go back to this.
VTuber for like 3 streams.
This is a V-Roy model, right? People were hating on this so much. Like in the VTubing community. I don't know what it is, but VTubers for some reason, they really hate when it's not just Pokey, because when Ludwig did it, they hated him too. They really hate when flesh tubers that are big decided to become VTubers. You guys like, how you guys feel on that? Because like that they're like I don't know. I don't know if there's, but it's like they're like oh well, you're just gonna take away from our VTuber audience. I was just like, I don't think that's what it would be. Well, some of it makes you realize they have no personality. So like the VTubers that are doing it that are getting jealous, or the big streamers. She can forever be 25 with the VTuber for the Pokies. Who stars VTubers? I prefer those who stars VTubers are perfect. I just don't like those changing one day later discard. Why is that Gama? Is a good example for the live and VTuber combination. I mean, Jay didn't even want to do a face reveal, but someone like showed her off. I don't know who Jellywig is, so that she was like, what's it called? She did like the combination, but apparently Jaden have? Apparently we can't talk about the specifics with Jaden because that audience gets so mad when you bring up Jaden's VTubing stuff. But does Jaden still do VTubing as Jaden still? That's the real question. So, because I know she has a different name, which I'm not gonna disclose because apparently you're not supposed to. But yeah, I don't know. VTubers uses their personality to get an audience. Callie scenes live streamers are talking heads. Jellywig is Ludwig because he has no. Oh, it's fine. Okay. Okay. I was just like, I don't know what that meant. So.
And then went back to being a fleshy. She would see her overall peak in 2022, and around the same time she would eventually leave her place at offline TV to pursue other things. But she was at the top of her game. Most people on the internet knew her name.
It's because it's strange to a viewer who used just seeing a face and now changes, so maybe the fans' base will not. Yeah, the fan base. That's what I'm saying. At the end, they're doing it. The it's like they're gonna see what the fan base is. But the thing is with the fan base too, though, like your fan base could be mixed, which is why I always mix up my models. Your fan base could be so mixed where, like, let's say you finally get your dream avatar, right? Your fan base could be like, I don't like it. And they'll stop coming, right? And then it will make you not like the model because you see that you're not performing anymore. And so then you have to change up your stuff, and you're like, well dang, I thought this was my stinking dream model. Turns out I can't even have my dream model because that's not what you want. And like some people are able to like push through it and keep using their model that they love. But others will be like, no, I gotta go with what the fans want. So it's very mixed baggage when it comes to VTubing. Because I have seen that. I have seen where VTubers have literally been like, guys, we're gonna have to fund it. I mean, your guys are gonna have to fund it because I funded the last one. This was my model. I wanted to have this model, but you guys don't like this model, and so, if you really don't like it, then we're gonna have to make funds via this way. Because the last one I paid working hard with like my full-time job, saved for expensive rigging X, Y, and Z, and you guys don't want it. So if you guys really want a new model, then you guys have to raise some funds for it. Which I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'm just like, I mean, if a lot of people are complaining about it, then it's just like, well, I guess the funding, you can do funding for it, because it's like, dang, you do realize how expensive that is, right? Just look at every Poke drama. It's always self-centered, lack of self-awareness, and her shallow personality. So, hey, now, just because most are okay. I was like potholes, like a VTuber are fine with changing models. Iron Mouse, Leaflet, Ember, most VTubers change models or have different versions like you. No, so what I mean, changing models is like changing the design of the model or the style of the model. So like Iron Mouse, you know, because her branding revolves around her changing up her style of model all the time, it works for her. But like if you have someone like, let's just say Cinder and Shy Lily, they will still have their model look pretty much the same. They will change their outfit. So and then you have someone like Bao who will change the style. So it just really depends. Yeah, Iron Mouse has a lot of models, so but she can afford it. I can't afford that. Chat. Go fund me for an update OG model for more details, look, and more add-ons. Like, yeah, like that's basically how it would have to be. Like, Lily made a drastic change recently. I don't know how I feel about it. Exactly. See, like, but at the same time, it's not like if there's like, oh, wow, how fun for your whole new look. But like, if you like, he's not saying it to try, because like if you said it to the VTuber themselves, they will feel a certain type of way about you saying like, oh, I just don't like this look or something like that. It's like, okay, I didn't ask you. It's just like, you know, but at the same time, it is what it is, right? So I don't know. It's just like, I don't know.
And the support she was receiving around this time was overwhelming. It took her 7 years and a gamble to reach this point, and it was a resounding success. That is a basic version of how Pokimane got to where she is today and some of the events along the way. But as she's grown, so has some of the resentment and distrust for her, because going past 2023, it's now reached a point where it's common to see hate for her, and it speaks louder than any good things being said about her. And it's probably due to a build-up over time with the controversy surrounding her as she grew, and key points like her cookie situation, because past that point is where the criticism for her really became mainstream. But what are said critiques surrounding her, and why is she so hated?
Like, oh my god, $28 for cookies? It's 4 bags.
$28 for cookies? Don't worry, child. I'll charge you $50 for just one box. Just like Throne.
$7 a bag. I know, math is hard. Like, if you're a broke boy, just say so.
So one of the main critiques Pokimane faces is that the so-called persona she shows on most of...
Doesn't Pokimane have a new controversy every time she falls off? Okay, this is what people theorize, that every time she sees a small dip, she will randomly decide to say something on Twitter or say something that would purposely stir up something just to get people to react. I don't know how true that is, but that's why some people like, listen, even if like you hate her, it's like she does know how to keep the attention on her. So people talk about her neighbor is her secret boyfriend, maybe.
Her streams, where she's usually this wholesome, kind, and quiet person, is all fake, and this is just a mask she wears on stream to be perceived in a good light. But if we were being honest, a lot of streamers probably are putting on acts or are creating characters they will only show on stream. There are very few streamers you can confidently say aren't, and even then you don't know them personally, so you wouldn't know if they are. But more so with Pokimane, people didn't think that she was this nice person she constantly represented, and it was commonly
Wait, you know what? Hold up. Where is this part at? Chat, you know what Don would say? I can do this because my feet are clean. My feet are clean. I'm in my room. I'm in my room. Who else been in my room? I just vacuumed my room. Therefore, my feet are clean. Oh my goodness, bro. Would say that's crazy. Okay, that's okay. Okay. The one that gave her the self-engagement ring. Oh my goodness. WTOJM. Oh, there's also part of the Cali. Yeah, the Cali streamer scenes is a whole different thing. That's crazy. Bigger number, better piece people. Everything they do, improve viewers, numbers, collabs, politics, etc. Probably his nightly. Okay, chat. Okay, we're not going all there. I'm just saying. I feel like where his logic with the hand washing. Oh my goodness. Y'all two are watching this later on. If you guys don't understand this, you gotta watch this live. Yeehaw, yeehaw.
Personally, so you wouldn't know if they are. But more so with Pokimane, people didn't think that she was this nice person she constantly represented, and it was commonly stated it was all fake. Because there has been moments throughout her career these critics point to where this apparent mask slips, and in their eyes she shows her true character. Some of these moments I have already mentioned, like with the Boblax and It's a Gundam situation. In one she tried to silence drama, which just made it worse, and in the other she reacted poorly to a video criticising her and her fanbase. But there are more recent events people have pointed to, like what happened surrounding the XQC Kick contract, where XQC was offered a huge amount of money with the claimed figure being 100 million, in which most of it by now has probably been put into a slot machine knowing him, and this deal was so that he would stream on Kick. This wasn't even an exclusivity deal. He could stream on both Twitch and Kick as long as he hit his required amount of streamed hours on Kick. Now Kick is owned by Stake, a company mainly known for gambling, which around 2023 gambling in the streaming space was being heavily—
You know what's crazy? Oh yeah, he does use Stake. I was gonna say, you know what's crazy? If he had used all that 100 million, put it back on back on the Stake, and I'm like, wait a second, you're probably right, because he gambles on Stake.
criticised, with the argument being that streaming gambling would encourage the streamer's audience to do it, and it could result in younger, more impressionable viewers getting addicted or losing a significant amount of money. This eventually led to Twitch at the time banning gambling, which also resulted in a lot of these gambling streamers moving to Twitch's competitor, Kick. Now with XQC being offered 100 million generational wealth, even his great-grandchildren will be able to buy at least 2 sticks of DDR5 RAM, which will probably be the biggest flex in the future with how RAM prices are right now. But this was a lot of money with a requirement he was already happy doing. So a lot of other streamers would understand why he would take the deal, and a lot of people congratulated him on it. But Pokimane, someone that had previously been somewhat buddy-buddy with XQC, upon hearing about this would not congratulate him from what I saw, and instead would go on a rant about how Twitch could shut down Kick at any point, which was a claim that was wrong. That would—
Okay, wait, hold up. Okay, chat. As someone who literally does multi on a lot of platforms, would you turn down 100 milli? Or do you think it's different because we're not at where they're at? Like, for example, like Kai Cenat turned down 100 million where he's at, right? But the thing is, like, for like, as they were saying with what's his face, this dude's XQC, he can stream on Purple Side at any time, so it's not like he's not allowed to. Like, he can literally stream there at any time if he really felt like it. He just prefers to stream on the green side more than the purple side. So it's just like, I don't get that logic. It's like, the only reason he probably prefers to stream on the green side more is because, for one, he's getting more money, and two, like, he had his problems with the purple side. You need to be 18 plus for making a gambling account, and the gambling website says gambling with the mind of losing. I love how obviously like, yeah, even the gambling sites, yeah, you're probably gonna lose. Why would Amazon shut down the green site? They would make a fortune on AWS. Purple side loses money. I wouldn't turn down 1 million to leave. Okay.
Be Amazon's web service, and I'm pretty sure that would violate their user agreement.
Kick makes Twitch money. Like, Kick is using Twitch's services. And if Twitch really wanted, they could just stop giving these services to Kick. But right now, they're just sitting back like, thanks, I guess.
And around the start of another stream, upon being asked if she would ever take a deal herself, she responds in a bit of a self-righteous way, saying she would never compromise her morals and it's cringe, and people would think she was referring to XQC and his big deal around this time.
No, and it's not because I got like $10 million. It's just because I'm good as I am. Why would I?
No. Okay, chat. What about 10 million? What about 10 million? 100 million? You said, yeah, 100%. What about 10 million? Like, I don't know. I just know a lot of people who wouldn't. 1 second. Oh, wait. I just realized. Needs 500. Kaisenet needs 500 million from from green site if they want him. Kai is the face of the purple side. All XQC had to do was hit a stream hour goal for him. That's nothing he streams. Exactly. WPN. Wouldn't compromise. Okay. I mean, I don't like purple, so 10K. You would do 10K. I said 10 million, so I think doing a deal with gambling companies would be something I would want to turn down. Like, if there is a thing where you had to do gambling, I can understand that. But if it's just, here's your stream quota. So, but I know a lot of people who do the gambling stuff, they kind of just reach out to that, to the stake stuff. But you don't have to do the gambling stuff. So that's one thing. It's just like, you don't have to do gambling. So.
Compromise my morals and ethics for more money when I have money. Something about that is so cruel.
I could see XQC or Asmon not taking a deal if it meant they couldn't do with one, but you need who wouldn't take the money. Yeah, like Asmon said he didn't really have a contract. He just said, yeah, I can multi-stream now. So, and then he started comparing the numbers. He's like, look, chat, here's my numbers. So yeah. That's what it is.
Cringe to me personally. Like, I understand, you know, if you need to make money, for me to do cringe shit when I have I can't.
Like, what would be cringe though? What's the thing that's cringe though? Streaming on another site? I mean, she took a contract with the Red app. But then she went back to the purple side because she was like, Red wasn't doing it for her. So what's cringe about the green side? Like, I know a lot of streamers are always looking down on the green site. So, and it's usually the ones who've made it. Meanwhile, the other ones who haven't, they're just like, yeah, I mean, I could always just multi-stream if anything. So, like, I haven't made it, chat. So that's why I was like, yeah, I'll just multi-stream if anything. It's like, to me, I'm still gonna do the same content. It's just like, hey, let's see what works out at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, what's gonna be the best? Like, is there problems on the green site? Yes, there's problem on every site. Like, that's what we gotta think about. If the deal said to do X hours a week of stake gambling content, I would say no. Absent walked away from Mythic, OTK, etc. when his controversy started hitting him. He wants to live how he wants. He doesn't even use the money he has. Yeah. I mean, she does cringe stuff all the time, so, okay.
Like, ew.
This would result in both of them getting into a call and presenting both of their points, which didn't solve anything.
Well, basically, Hassan, we're kind of done talking about me being a snake, so I think it's time we talk about you being a snake. Take it away, X.
Okay, well, I want.
But what made it worse, and one of the main points people used that she is fake, was when previously when streamers were congratulating XQC, one streamer who was associated with Pokimane, who did publicly congratulate XQC on his deal, for some reason.
So like currently I'm not multi right now. I'm only on TT right now. But like there are times when I do multi. So but yeah, I'm not multi right now. But y'all could check on purple. Because I was just like, like we're kind of just vibing today. But like I'm saying, like in general, like it really depends which one is gonna get the traction for you at the end of the day and that you're comfortable with. So like just seek it out, because like you can try a bunch of sites. It's like when people try quite a few other things that are available. But you know, it just wasn't for them. Also, if you only do one platform, exactly, like if you only do one platform and you happen to get banned on that platform, then it's like, dang, what do you do then? So that's why I was just like, that's why I have all this other stuff going on. So it's just like, it is what it is.
Poki would send them a message and question why she would congratulate him.
I tweeted, congrats to XQC and Kick, because I think it's like a win-win situation for both parties. And she reached out and she was like, I was kind of surprised that you were publicly supporting it. And crypto gambling, it promotes gambling.
But to be fair, the streamer that claims this does actually add more context when this clip blew up, defending Pokimane. Eventually the drama would be over, but a lot of people question why she would insert herself into this situation and why she reacted the way she did, especially with someone that she had previously associated with, but this would be a situation referenced with this criticism. Another case referred to, and one that was probably her biggest fumble, which I personally think played an integral role in where her reputation and public standing is to this day, and that was with the cookie situation.
The cookies!
Where she worked with a company to release a cookie that was claimed to be a healthy snack alternative called Aryanna. Now people noticed a lot of problems.
I don't know who Celeste is, but Celeste got banned on purple but was able to keep streaming on the green, the red, and the Shake app. I don't know what another thing is. Then after the denied appeal, it got more attention. Finally removed the purple ban from her account, so no strikes. I'm a purple viewer. I'm only here for Jay's content. Exactly. Like it really depends if your audience is willing to come over or not. But a lot of people's audience might not come over. Only a percentage will come over. So.
Problems with the cookie. One, it almost had exactly the same values and looked almost like another brand, and two, it was very expensive just for one bag.
Buy from the store, how much would it cost?
$14. So it's $14 without shipping. Yeah, without shipping.
No.
Yeah.
That can't be right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That's so bad.
And three, people said they tasted pretty bad.
Ew.
But with the first point on the launch, people would go to her chat and say, you know, these cookies are a bit overpriced, which led to a response which is another one of Pokimane's infamous clips, which once again still follows her around to this day.
Like, oh my god, $28 for cookies? It's 4 bags. That's $7 a bag. I know math is hard when you're an idiot, but...
Bruh. I will watch on purple, but if multi-stream, I prefer green. Sometimes I have chat up for bro. I would prefer, and I would appreciate if my viewers did that, but sometimes people just only want to stay at one. Like, I would, like, realistically, I would prefer them to be on the green side, because there's no ads. And then, like, if I had a lot of people on purple and they're just on green, I could literally just, I could just scroll the max ads up. I'd be like, okay, 30 minutes ads per hour. That's what I would have done if I had like 75 average over there or something like that. Like, that's what I would be doing. Yeah, like it really depends on if someone's mobile or if they're on desktop. So, but that's what I like, you know, to help me out. But like considering how on purple I only have 1 to 3, maybe 1 to 5 average, it's just like
Like, if you're a broke boy, just say so. Anyway.
Now this clip would blow up, even Moist Critical made a video on it. She would later say this was a joke, but some would point to her previously having the same attitude days prior. Regardless if this was a joke, the internet...
So, the people who get better pay on green is one if they have KPP. So like the more interacts, like you guys chatting right now, that's good. If you guys weren't chatting, that would be bad. Like, you know, like if I had it, it would be bad because I wouldn't be able to really make anything. It doesn't even matter how long I streamed because there's no interaction, right? So I could stream for 12 hours, but I could only get like 30 cents per hour because there's no one interacting. Now, if you guys are talking abundantly and there's a lot of interaction going on, it's like, oh, okay, that might go up. So it just really all depends. So that's why you see like certain people just have it set up a certain way. But that's why I'm always asking people, hey, follow me on like on my platforms. And like, hey, I'm live on green, or follow me on Discord so you know where I'm at. And you know, even if they're lurkers, it's whatever. So like I don't mind having lurkers. Yeah, there's a fish. Yeah, like like a lot of people tend to support more what platform they're comfortable in instead of what would help the streamer out more. So you might like the streamer a lot, but because it's not a platform you like, it's like, well then, too bad. Like, for example, let's say the streamer you like, I think you watch Leaflet. Let's say Leaflet was still smaller. Let's say she's streaming on purple. And you know, when you're very small, you only get like 50% with subs, right? Now, let's say you decide to sub to her, she only gets 50% of that, right? And then if you give to her on green, she would get 95% of that sub. But if you give to her on red, she gets 70% of that sub. It's just like, it really all depends. But like, because a lot of people like purple for streaming, because they like the layout and everything, they're gonna sub to purple. And a lot of them are aware how much they only get from that sub. But they'll do it that way anyways because it's most convenient to them. And they should appreciate the donation, which I understand. Like, it's the viewers' money at the end of the day, so they can do it. But like, if let's say the streamer's like, yeah, I'm suffering, I'll appreciate any support, and they have a link to their donos, or like they have an app that has a better way of them getting cheddar, like a lot of people still get the sub via purple side because one, the gift is subs, and two, it's like they could be on leaderboard. So yeah. But yeah, W Dan for your comment. He's like, I only give subs on green. I don't want to give my money to Dan and Clancy. Their moderation and Twitch content is yucky. I give subs on purple war. Oh, I All these subs I got on Purple were Ghost. Yeah, like I'll use Prime subs on Purple, so yeah, I'll use Prime. Oh, that's what Darius said as well, and that's dedicated. Yeah, I literally just use Prime subs whenever I can. But I don't do anything when it comes to that. So
Net had cast their judgment, and this on top of many other situations I've mentioned would be used as evidence towards the point that Pokimane can't take criticism, and that there are moments where she reacts in a way that contradicts the image she's built up over the years that leads to people coming to the conclusion that her personality is fabricated or unorganic. The next common critique about Pokimane is that she is performative, which is a word heavily being used in the current year, and for a content creator, being called performative probably has the same effect as being called a slur. But people think Pokimane often makes claims or says things because that is the current thing, and she doesn't actually fully believe in what she's saying, and a lot of times people claim it's just virtue signaling. A key example people recently use is when on stream she ranted about the rich and how she hates the rich, which some thought was a bit hypocritical since it's estimated she is very wealthy herself, and of course people would bring up her very expensive cookies, even using it to counter a previous point she made about capitalism, but in that moment she does clarify she's talking about the ultra-rich, not rich people like her, which did not save her from any criticism.
Yeah.
Overall, a rich person talking about how they hate the rich, even if it is the giga-rich, can be viewed as more ironic than anything, and it did not have the desired effect.
The wage gap, I hate that shit.
No wealth disparity.
Okay, Dan.
Wage
What's
gap
up,
is like
mister?
between men and women. Men and women, we love each other.
Facts.
And we hate the rich. Anyways.
Aren't you the rich?
No! Like,
I like how, because okay, Jason's also been making his way up, and even Jason just sides eye and is like questioning. He's just like, "Wait, ain't you rich too?" Like that part cracks me up because no one has their attention on Jason in this thing because he never actually said that. So it's just like, wait, wait, what? Like, because he does, like, you know, treat himself and stuff, but it's not like he said something where it's just like, that's very wild to say because you got the check. So it's like, interesting.
the ultra rich, the ultra giga rich, the unnecessarily rich.
People also point to how sometimes she will tweet about things like in this now deleted tweet, where she says how she missed when streaming was about gaming and not just drama baiting and clip farming, in which people would remind her she's been in a few dramas and initiated some when she didn't really need to. People also refer to this comment she made in an interview where she says streaming is too male dominated and there aren't any female streamers the same size as people like iShowSpeed, which people would admit is true, but point out there wasn't a lot of female streamers doing content like iShowSpeed. And for some it felt like she was discrediting the progress females have made in the streaming space, especially in the last few years. A key example was with Vtubers, which, ironically, is female dominated. This is apparently a claim she brings up a lot because this original story was made over a year ago. Yet as recent as 2 months ago, it was brought up again. I'm pretty sure people are just recycling it at this point, but Poki does make statements like this a lot and they don't always land. Like her comment on believing all victims, yep, it was brought up that she was laughing at Amber Heard during her trial when she was supposedly the victim, and when called out on this, she would apologise. I think even recently there was another event where she was called a moody socialist billionaire by her chat, and she responds by banning them and saying if she was one, she wouldn't be one for long because she would give away all her money.
I think I'm a billionaire, you cookie bean. I'm so sorry. If I ever was a billionaire, I wouldn't be a billionaire for more than a day. I would give away most of my money.
And there are other examples people use to claim she's performative.
I'm an immigrant girl. We always feel like we gotta work. Work.
Pokimane immigrated to Canada from Morocco when she was 4 years old, which would be around the year 2000. Okay, so you didn't immigrate shit, your parents did. And besides you studying at a university, you've never had a normal job outside of content creation.
The final reason I found for why people hate Pokimane is simply just down to fatigue. Now, I have said in a previous video, Pokimane finds herself in a controversy or situation once every 3 months. Whether it's down to something she says or...
then you're like, a shame that multi-millionaire isn't enough to start man. Nope. Nope. No. You gotta be a billionaire, bro.
Does. And I think what I said still applies to this day. For some reason recently she proposed to herself and made it a public thing, and the next thing was she started talking about her relationships and how she doesn't need a man, and then she starts doing content with a guy people insist is her boyfriend. And all of this is fine, it's her life, she can do whatever she wants and she can create whatever content she wants. But indirectly
She keeps interest in her first. Yeah, that's because it's just like, what is this girl up to? But like, that's why it's like, it's just more so interesting. But I don't feel the need to be like hating on her because it's just like, all right, like she understands what she's doing, and it's just like, it's kind of like when you see some of the other grifters do it, and it's just like, bruh, okay, like. But like, I feel like with the other people who be grifting, they take it over the edge. Like, she just says stuff that feels so disconnected. I mean, she might have some crazy things that might have been said, but I'm saying like when you see stuff that's like, oh my goodness, becoming the bad trad wife is like the best thing ever, and then and then you see something that contradicts that, and like the next thing they do, it's like, okay. But then you have Pokimane, it's like, I'm marrying myself. Actually, might be in a relationship. It's just like, okay, that's just goofy. So places she would give away to wouldn't help anyone. So, okay. Pokimane is like WWE streamers, you know? Yeah, you heard? You heard? So.
it's led to fatigue, where people are tired of seeing these arbitrary statements on Twitter or a stunt like her proposing to herself. And these are the only things you really hear about Pokimane nowadays, and it's not all her fault, but people are tired of it. Some claim her openly doing these type of things is because she's going through a midlife crisis or attention seeking. My personal theory, leading to what I said at the start of the video, is that she has the self-awareness to know she's made it in life. She doesn't, from my knowledge, have to worry about important things like her finances, and she knows there's nothing she can do to change anyone's mind regarding her reputation. I mean, at this point she's a lot less apologetic than she was in previous years, where around that time if she saw a ton of backlash she'd make a public statement or apologize, but she doesn't really do that anymore. I think she knows she's only one comment away from a 5'2" Venezuelan homeless Canadian man making a video on her so he can feed his 5 children. So she plays into it, and I think 2025 onwards she is just rage baiting people at this point. And it works so very well by maybe giving her
She's disconnected. She's basically like Hollywood elite. Her opinions are following whatever is popular. Never been real world working job or struggle.
too much credit. Pokimane right now is at the phase, I assume, where her online career is winding down. She doesn't stream as much as she used to, she doesn't stream to as many people as she used to, she's losing followers on Twitch, and there is a lot of hate out there for her. So I think at this point she's just having fun with it, but that's just my theory.
A game theory.
You want me to take out a gun and blow a fucking hole in your head right here? Right now? You want that?
So in conclusion, does Pokimane deserve the hate she receives? Well, in terms of the criticism she receives, I think she deserves said criticism in some cases, especially in situations where it comes to her responding to things or making comments she doesn't really need to make. And she has done this a lot, which has led to a shift in her reputation over the years. But obviously there are people that take their dislike for her too far, like harassing her and sending weird messages to her. But in terms of general criticism, I think there is some logic behind it, and I think recently she is rage-baiting people for the love of the game. However, despite this, looking at her career, it's still impressive what she's done in the past decade. No matter what criticism you have for her, you really can't take that achievement away. Once again, thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to...
Okay, chat, that was the video. What you guys thought of it? And if you want to give your Pokimane take down in the description below. Let me think. Just say it. If you want to give your Pokimane take in the comments down below, feel free to. Just be respectful. And with that being said, y'all have a good one. Bye.